Welcome to Positively Muskegon. It's Andy O'Reilly, and if you can see behind me, this is one of these things where you don't get better jobs than I do. Cindy Beth Davis Dykema is here today, and she is my guest. And tell everybody where we are. Dead fly. Got him. Tell everybody where we are today, Cindy. This is incredible.
Yeah, I don't know if I think you have a cool job, but I think I have a pretty cool job too.
You've got a great job, and if it involves where we are today, tell me about this. We're at the top of the South Pier Lighthouse.
We are. So here in Muskegon, we have two lighthouses, and the Michigan Lighthouse Conservancy, our nonprofit, owns them both. So we are standing today in the beautiful, nearly 115-year-old structure of the Muskegon South Pier Headlight in a room that they call the Lantern Room because our lantern once lived right here.
Sure. It's still functioning.
It is an active aid to navigation. It is still functioning.
And there's a big year coming up for this next year, and we're kind of ahead of the curve a little bit to talk about what's needed, what's coming, and what people can expect over 2018.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about what's coming up.
I would love the opportunity to do that. So 115 years, and that's basically the amount of time that this lighthouse structure has been in place. But this was the third installment of lighthouses in Muskegon. There was one in 1850s, more towards the mouth of Muskegon Lake, built out of wood, as we were talking about earlier. Surprise, surprise, it didn't hold up well to time.
Right.
And then in the 1870s, in Lighthouse Park, which some people might be familiar with, across from Margaret Drake Elliott Park, there was a lighthouse built there, and the room that we're standing in is actually taken from that 1870s structure.
Really?
So the bottom section of the lighthouse, the first two stories, are 115 next year, and the room we're standing in today is even older.
Is that right?
It is.
And these things are still functional. They're open for tours from time to time. It's a little hard to get here because it's kind of sandwiched in between the Coast Guard. It's in the NOAA office is up there as well, the weather office. But you can get in here actually and see this during the summer.
By all means, you're actually welcome to walk out here any time of year. So we have a lot of folks out here fishing at this time of year, and a lot of people come out to see sunsets all year round. I'm one of those people. And actually, this lighthouse itself is open from May until October. So we've really expanded our season, and we do it all with volunteers. So without volunteers, the lighthouse would not and could not be open.
Muskegon moves.
I know.
Volunteer.
It's so true. So if you're interested in being a lighthouse keeper, that's one of the things we'd love to help, raise more awareness about is how many volunteers we actually need in order to keep this open to the public.
There's some work that needs to get done, though.
There's a lot of work that needs doing.
Let's talk about the work that needs to get done.
Sure. So the room that you're standing in right now actually had the windows replaced pretty recently, in the last couple of years. So other than the spiders that have a tendency to take up home here in the off season, we are in pretty good shape in the room we're standing in. We did have some beautiful safety accessibility railing that was put in place with a grant from the United States Lighthouse Society, and thank you to the Community Foundation for Muskegon County.
Always doing great things.
They are incredible, and we couldn't do good work without them. So on the way up, things are really pretty safe and secure. It's 54 steps to the top, and you've got 3 different landings, and you come through a spiral staircase, and the very top level is the shipman's ladder. So it's kind of a fun and unique experience for kids and grown-ups alike. So as long as kids are 3 foot taller, they can climb, and always with the company of adults. But basically the level right beneath us is the one that we were looking at earlier, and that's the watch room. So that's the room that the lighthouse keepers of old would stand watch in. So they would watch out over the lake, and when there was big storms coming through, they were on watch pretty much 24 hours a day. So that room has some pretty severe damage to the wood flooring, and we're looking to restore that, as well as some of the portholes in there as well.
What kind of activities are you going to have over the next year to support this?
I'm so glad you asked.
You know what you're doing. You're pretty good at this.
Hey, thanks. So we're going to be doing a lot of really cool events next year. So we've got some pretty big and special gala events planned, and we're going to be doing a Port City Princess cruise on both the lights. So thanks for Sylvia Precious and her wonderful support. And then on the pier here, we really have a vision for tenting the entire pier in a white big tent and having tall cocktail tables and dinner and drinks out here for sunset. So that'll be a pretty special fundraiser. And we're also going to have our Lighthouse Festival as usual, which takes place in partnership with the Lake Effect folks who do the work of Michigan Maritime Festival late August. And then we open up for Lighthouse Festival Day, which is on August 7th of every year. And we always kick off with the blessing of the boats over Memorial Day weekend. So with that, we do children's chalk art contests. There's going to be sandcastle building. There's going to be live music, dance, all sorts of fun things. And the lighthouse will be open increased hours for sunsets next year as well.
Where does your passion for all this come from?
Oh, from this beautiful lighthouse that you're standing in, and from the people who helped to make it stand.
I mean, it's not your first rodeo. You've been involved with quite a few lighthouses around Michigan. Where does it come from? Where's your desire? Where's the drive?
Well, I love being from Michigan, and I love our beautiful state and our incredible spot in the state. We're pretty fortunate to be from West Michigan, if I do say so myself. And then actually I had a great uncle who was a lighthouse keeper up on Beaver Island.
Did you really?
I did, yeah. My dad was a coastie, so he served right here at the Coast Guard Station. My husband was born on the channel down in Fish Gut Alley, and my son was born at home right up in Bluffton, so we love Muskegon.
It's an amazing thing. Will you keep us in the loop over the next year?
I would love to.
As to these things that are coming up?
Absolutely.
And let us help you out get the promotion.
That would be huge,
yeah,
because
it'd be great.
The breakwater light is going to be an even bigger task than the pier head that we're standing in.
Tell me about that. What's going on up there?
Yeah, so that one was built in 1931, and even though it's newer than this lighthouse, it's out further in Lake Michigan, and it just gets those brutal Michigan winters.
Yeah.
You've probably seen those photographs with the entire ice encasement. Yeah. So that does some really serious damage, and it's a steel-clad tower, so the steel itself is actually eroding at the tower bases on each level. So the cement is one of the levels where each piece comes together, and the steel that's basically in place is completely eroding at the end, or at the seam around the base of each one of the levels as you go up higher.
Yeah.
So essentially it's just gravity and good engineering back in 1931 that's holding all those levels in place, and it's at such a high level of deterioration that we had to take from our very small budget $10,000 this fall in order to do the temporary waterproofing fixes that we needed just to get the lighthouse through till next year. So there's going to be some massive fundraising efforts taking place in the next 2 years.
Tough question.
Yeah.
Okay, you're passionate about this. You love these things.
Sure.
Are lighthouses still essential?
I do feel like they are. Not only do I think they're essential because they also help to aid mariners in just as they used to. GPS, as we all know, is not a foolproof gig.
No, it sure is.
So it's nice to have these beautiful lights, but it's also just a part of our culture and our heritage.
Really is. Yeah.
And in Europe, they have these incredible castles, and in here, these are our maritime castles. This is what we have for history, and if we want to be able to tell the future about these wonderful stories of our past, then we need to have these buildings here in order to do it.
I couldn't agree more.
Well, good.
Is there a website?
Yeah, MuskegonLights.org.
MuskegonLights.org Facebook page?
Yeah, Muskegon South Pier headlight.
She knows all her stuff. You're a perfect guest.
Hey, thanks. I do what I can.
I even survived the steps.
I'm pretty impressed. It's not for everyone.
She was worried. I asked her if there was an AED thing up here just in case, and she's like, I think we'll take care of it.
Yeah, we'll be good.
All the information is going to be right here on Positively Muskegon. We're going to stick with this throughout all of 2018. Do what you can to help out. It is it's a never-ending thing, and it's really part of our town and our heritage to help these guys out. Cindy, it's a pleasure to see you.
My pleasure.
Keep up the great work, and
Thank you.
you stay in touch with us.
I will.
And we'll help get the word out all throughout next year.
Thanks so much.
We'll make it a team effort here in Muskegon. And again, all the links are right here on Positively Muskegon. Cindy, have a great holiday.
Same to you.